What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 82 of Snakes and the Fatman. Okay, so what we got here is pretty fucking cool, man. 15 Minutes of Lame Season 1 alumni Jeremy and Jeannie Baud over at Baud's Exotic Reptiles, they went out and they got themselves a guitar. Then they got that guitar signed by the original pioneering big dogs in the reptile hobby. I'm talking guys like Ralph Davis, Kevin McCurley, Brian Barczyk, the Sutherlands, Ty Park, and more. And guess where this thing is headed? To the Daytona 2022 National Reptile Breeders USARK auction. Maybe, just maybe, one of you guys could own a piece of fucking history. The only way to win this guitar is show up at the auction and bid. Help out USARK, own something badass. This is literally the only one of these guitars in the world. Get your asses down to the Daytona USARK auction on Saturday, August 20th at 8 p.m. at the Daytona Hilton. And bid on this guitar, support USARK, and potentially be a part of reptile history. All right, this is a big episode, so we're going to get the house cleaning over pretty quickly today. Morph Market is the website that connects reptile breeders and keepers across the world. Search through over 30,000 ball pythons to find the perfect animal for you. Locate breeders near you and check out their ratings. Discover upcoming events and who will be there. And track your animals for free using the Animal Manager. I think that this is just the Dave Kaufman commercial from that movie all over again. Right now, Morph Market is working on many new features, including Android and iPhone apps, saved searches and alerts, and purchasing animals on the site. Morph Market is dedicated to supporting and advancing the reptile industry. Go fucking become a member right now. morphmarket.com. All right, moving on to what's going on with the Herps Exotic Reptiles and Pets Show. Listen, this is the best fucking show circuit in the fucking country. Brought to you by Sean and Lori Gray. On July 30th and 31st, they're going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. On August 13th and 14th, they're going to be in Corpus Christi. They got a little home show at Bryan in College Station, Texas on August 20th and 21st. They're over in rich people land in fucking Austin, Texas, the fucking liberal capital of Texas, on August 27th and 28th. Big show up in Conroe, Texas on September 10th and 11th. They're going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana on September 17th and 18th. Branch Davidian headquarters. This is where the compound was, where the firefight was, where David Koresh was. October 15th and 16th, they're going to be in Waco, Texas. And then they're going to be in Lafayette, Louisiana on November 5th and 6th. Listen, again, I don't have to tell you. If you're in these areas, go to a fucking herp show. It's worth your fucking time. All other fucking show circuits are doing shitty right now, not herps. Herps is fucking crushing it every fucking month. Listen, if you got a question for Sean and Lori, just hit this button right here. Ask them a question. Fucking let them know that they're the best fucking show circuit in the fucking country. Ah, Jesus Christ, I can't even believe I gotta keep saying that. Herpshow.net. So I really wasn't going to talk about this, but people have been asking me my opinion of it. The Dave Kaufman Ball Pythons movie. First of all, I do want to say it wasn't bad. I mean, he always does like kind of cinematic stuff with the drone. He has good visuals. It definitely looked good. That being said, I really didn't see the fucking point of it all. I mean, we have ball python breeding kind of dialed in here in America. Like, why go to Africa? And then not only going, but then acting all surprised when you find out that it's a fucking shithole. And that's not racist, okay? Don't fucking be saying, Chris, you're fucking racist for calling Africa a fucking shithole. I'll prove that you're a racist too then. Would you rather live in Barcelona or fucking Rwanda, man? Like, why would you go to a third world country and see these skinned animal places and act all shocked and thinking that these people aren't gonna do whatever they have to do to earn their fucking $5 a month? It's like, oh, this is disgusting. I didn't know that they did this. I gotta go. Get the fuck out of here, right? Really? I just think it was a little bit disrespectful to the culture and the way that people have to make a living there. You know, when you're in a third world fucking shithole, you do what you have to do, you know, to make whatever you can make every month just to fucking survive. So for Dave to go in there and be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. This is disgusting. I can't even be here. I have to go. You know, there was a point where I was just like, fucking sack up, man. Like, it's a fucking third world country, and you knew that going into it. Like, I knew about starving people and poverty in Africa when I was fucking 7 years old, and we used to see the Ethiopian fucking charity commercials on TV. Dave is my age, so he probably remembers that too. So why would you fucking go all the way over there and act surprised that people are starving and doing what they have to do to earn money? And then the part where he was in back of the death market and he was like, oh, I snuck back here. Look at this and look at that. This is disgusting. Listen, where I come from, you don't go to a fucking other country and disrespect their shit, especially a third world country where they're doing things every day that you never even thought about fucking doing, man. You know, I mean, did you see how they had to fill up fucking their gas tanks in the car? Fucking Pepsi jugs full of fucking gasoline. And, you know, I just don't get it. I don't see the point of going there and acting surprised at all this shit. And then he's going out into the bush and finding all these ball pythons, disrupting them, you know, like digging out basically up until a foot of their nest and saying, we didn't want to pull up all the dirt because we didn't want to disturb the animal. Dude, you fucking dug 9 feet of dirt in a fucking trench right behind you. You already disrupted this fucking animal. And I guess what it just comes down to for me is I really don't give a shit how ball pythons live in the wild. Like, not even a little shit. 99% of all the ball pythons in America and Europe are so many generations removed from the wild that if you put one of our fucking snakes out there, it would be dead in fucking a week. Don't care about humidity. Don't care about temperature. I mean, come on. It was just, I felt like the movie came out about a dozen years too late. I think he could have just saved a bunch of money and just went to Justin's facility in Georgia and fucking not risk fucking his life, fucking getting malaria, fucking, you know, having your asshole explode for fucking 5 weeks because of something that you ate. But like, he could have just saved all that time and just went to Justin's because we have it dialed in here in America. And he went to one actual African breeder. Like, how are you gonna go all the way to Africa and not go to Noah's facility? Instead, we got Mike's facility. And I'm pretty positive that Mike is not his real name. His fucking real name is probably like Umagugu. And then Mike is saying things like, pied ball pythons like rocks, and they're found mostly in rocky outcroppings. That's where the pieds like to go. Oh, the pieds like to go there, but the other genes don't like to go there. And then he says, I mean, Mike was working with like a champagne and a super pastel. And then Mike fucking laid on some bullshit where he's like, yeah, my ball pythons never miss a meal. Never miss a meal. They eat every week. If they don't eat for 2 weeks, I give them Flagyl because obviously they have some kind of disease. Like, what the fuck? And Dave was just like, right, okay. I mean, come on. I understand that there's a language barrier, but fucking, he didn't have to just be like, yes, you know, to everything that that the guy was responding to. Like I said, it's definitely worth a watch, okay? It looks really good. Dave has a way of bringing visuals sometimes that makes it look like an actual movie. I mean that's really the bottom line. And seeing the unbelievable level of poverty there makes you more thankful for all the shit that you do have here. I just felt like it was an hour-and-a-half long vlog. You know, it was just typical. I wanted so much more out of this. You know what? No, I didn't. I didn't even need this fucking movie. So I would definitely recommend that you watch it. It's worth the watch. But to a lot of people, it's going to aggravate them big time. But, you know, what do I know? Like, in the first day, it got like fucking 2 billion views. So fucking, he's obviously doing something better than I am. All right, seriously, are we still doing this? Are you still being a repta bitch? How is it not been fucking drilled enough into your head that this is the only cocoa substrate that you should be using? Support the guy that supports the industry. Support the guy that supports the Fatman. And support the only coconut company that's actually giving back to the industry in a reptilutional way. Is that even a word? I think I could use it because reptilution isn't even really a fucking word, right? Reptilutionary way. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that'll work. Support the only guy that rivals the Fatman in bringing you fucking gorgeous women in their shirts. Every dollar earned by the Reptilution apparel brand literally goes right back into the community. Don't be a repta bitch. Be a repta bro. Go buy a brick, a bag, a shirt. I don't give a fuck. Just get on it. Reptachip.com. All right, so apparently it's hatching season. If it's not hatching season, I'm seeing a fucking fuck of a lot of snakes over on the old gram there. But next time you're scrolling the old gram there, ask yourself this. How many bullshit, so what, who gives a shit snakes do you scroll past before you actually find anything different? I mean like obvious, no bullshit, makes you want to buy at ball pythons. How many of them do you see? What's the percentage of snakes on your feed that you would actually invest in? 3%, 5%, 20%? Is it 50%? I mean, if it's the latter, you're borderline retarded. So what I decided to do is I'm going to give a list of the top 5 ball python genes that I just fucking can't stand. And then next episode, I'll give a top 5 list of ball python genes that I actually like and think that you should invest in. Shameless plug, if you're a member of the Snakes and the Fatman Patreon group, I have detailed videos on genes that I don't like, and I go into way more detail than I'm going to go into here. So patreon.com/snakes and a fat man. Okay, so here's the top 5 ball python genes that I can't believe people waste money on. Obviously, number 1, Huffman. This snake is also known as a normal, and it's a piece of shit that I can't believe people spend money on. The difference between a Huffman and a normal might be 0.00003%. Fuck this gene. I'm so not into this gene. Number 2, the hypo gene. Bullshit gene. People that want a snake that looks like it's always in shed in their collection probably married a woman that always looks like she's on her period. Fuck this gene too. Number 3, Ultramel. I really don't have a lot against this except for the fucking hipster doofy that are behind this project. The amount of jack-off hipsters involved in this project just makes me want to fucking shoot it and pee on it. Fuck this gene too. Number 4, Turbo. What the fuck is Turbo, you ask? It's a normal. It's a fucking normal that some nudnig in fucking Nebraska came up with and convinced 3 or 4 other people that it was something special. Trash gene, trash fucking project. Number 5, Bolt, Terminator, Carnivore, any genes that fucking cocksucker over in the UK Mills is producing and trying to peddle off as something new, even though they're literally a spider, an enchi, or something else that's been around for 20 fucking years already. Basically, genes that are full of shit, direct from a fucking full of shit person, direct from a fucking scum. Yeah, you know what? Fuck that guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes and the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at KINOVA. So in the past few years, KINOVA has become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody, look who I got here. The guy that everyone wants to be. The first officially certified partner from KINOVA, or of KINOVA, Billy Rice of Rice Reptiles. What's up, Billy?
Doing good, Chris. How you doing?
Good. Just plugging away here, man. Just everybody is talking about this thing. So what we're gonna do is, you know how this works. We're gonna give you 15 minutes, and you could just pimp all your shit and go from there. And I imagine that you already know what we're going to talk about. The 15 minutes is actually going to start now. Now, you guys are located in Georgia, right?
That's right.
Okay,
Southern
so
part.
you're in the same state as Justin.
Yeah.
And what led to this whole partnership thing? Because I mean, your DMs had to light up the second that announcement was made.
It was crazy, like Christmas tree.
Yeah, I guarantee it was just a bunch of morons asking you how you did what you did, right? So why don't you just walk me through that real quick?
Well, I think it's just we built a relationship with Justin over several years of buying animals from him, and it just become a good friendship to where I think both of us just kind of genuinely wanted to work together. So I don't think it's anything either one of us did on each end to where, it's just basically it worked out well for both of us.
So how does it work? Does basically Justin gives you a ton of animals to sell at shows or on your morph market? Like, do you once you have those animals, do you set the price? Do you kind of work your way, into it as if they're your own animals, or does Justin give you guidelines that you have to follow so you don't blow out a project?
Yeah, we the way it's going to work is we have been fully invested in our own animals with Justin for so long that Justin brought in animals to kind of match our collection. So Justin is a partner here in Rice Reptiles. It's not breeder loan type of situation. It's he fully has a stake in Rice Reptiles, and the animals that are here are both of ours. Some that we brought, we bought from him over a long period of time. Also, some that he's brought in to make the partnership.
Okay, gotcha. And the animals that you received from Justin, not the ones that you bought, but the ones that you received during this partnership, are there specific requirements that you have to stick by in order to sell? Like, are you just reselling those animals, or are you eventually going to breed those animals to your own?
Everything here to do with us is exactly like it is with KINOVA. Anything you buy from us will be bred here and sold here at Rice Reptiles.
Okay.
We will bring in breeders from Justin's and animals from anywhere, because Justin still buys a good bit of animals each year, at least a handful from different breeders from around the country. And that same thing we're going to do. We're going to buy maybe we're going to buy breeders from Justin to bring in here and breed everything that we can here. Nothing's going to be brought here and just resold. It's not any type of flipping deal. We breed everything in house.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So it's not just a resale program that Justin gives you snakes that he can't sell and says, "Here, try and sell these."
No, nothing like that. It's everything. Everything here is going to be. He absolutely helps guide us into projects that that he wants us to go in, but then we also have freedom to go anywhere we want to. So we really look forward to that aspect of it, as we can add more projects to what KINOVA does already.
Right. Okay. And then your offspring, you got some kind of split, obviously, with Justin once you sell these animals, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, really, it doesn't even matter, because you bought so many snakes from Justin to begin with. They're all kind of KINOVA snakes. They're just being sold from a different person, right? Because even the ones that he gave you just added to the ones that you bought from him.
Yes, this is basically like Justin has started another facility. Everybody knows that. He's announced it. So this is basically like another KINOVA facility, because we have so many animals from him.
Right. I gotcha. Okay. Well, that's an important thing. The questions that you had to be asked in the week that this thing was announced had to be ridiculous, right? I mean, it had to be, well, like, dudes that never bought from him are probably asking you how did you get this gig,
Yeah, and so many comments from people, like it's going to be breeder loan type thing, stuff like that. But it's nothing like that. I mean, Ozzy has that thing. Ozzy Boys, he has the Millionaire Snake Breeder series. If you've seen that, we basically reverse did that. We invested from our other companies into a lot of real estate, maxed out what we could do there in certain situations, and we basically reinvested into ball pythons, because it was time to get out of some of the neighborhoods we were in and some of the rentals. So we kind of did everything that Ozzy's telling everybody to do. We kind of did that in reverse and invested in snakes, but of course we still own real estate and are going to keep doing it.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So now, obviously, I ask everybody this question: why should people buy from you when they have Justin right there to buy from also?
Well, we're going to help diversify Justin's projects. Also, we're going to increase the number available of his projects. So not only can we diversify, but we can make the same animals, same quality, same animals that he's making now available, to where more people can get their hands on them. Like if you want, a redhead confusion clown or something that project will be something we'll be working on as well, so we can increase your chances of getting that animal
Right.
out of the same pool.
Yeah. So more animals will be available because Justin just basically added your collection to the whole to the whole thing. So
Yes.
yeah, that's actually a great idea, and it'll probably make the animals more affordable in the end if more of them are being produced.
That's right. It'll
So,
increase the availability to breeders out there that want to be able to get their hands on something. Maybe they get their hands on it a year sooner now.
right.
Hopefully.
I gotcha. Now, Rice Reptiles. Obviously, it's just your last name in reptiles, right? So
Yes.
I give you like a 4 on the name. Okay. Um, but how many animals do you have? Like, how many animals do you have prior to this collection? And then how many did it add to your collection?
Okay. So prior to investing with Justin, we probably had 30 animals total. Then we started investing with Justin. So I bought more than 100 and something snakes from Justin before Justin ever come in.
Okay.
So over the years, 100 and something animals from Justin, and I would say then he's come back with about as many. So right now from KINOVA, we're sitting at pushing growing out. I mean, from growing out to breeders on hand, 200 females right now, and
Jesus.
and
So
38 males.
That's a full-time fucking job now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Is this all you're doing now with just like your real estate stuff on the side?
Absolutely not. We're in the forestry industry, and we have multiple companies in that as well.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So do you have a facility or do you have 200 snakes in your house right now?
Right now we have a 5-car garage where three car part of it's connected. Then the 2-car part of it is separate. We're housing the snakes in that 2-car garage area. But it's 1,000 square foot. So we have them all in there, and it's not cramped working conditions. It's really nice. But we also have a full, like, I think it's a 40 by 70 rodent facility.
Oh, God.
So we sell rodents. So that's not something we're looking to do as a business. It's just something we're doing right now while we get this kickstarted.
So you have employees then, obviously. This is more than just your family working on this.
Well, we have one employee.
Okay.
We handle all this with one employee.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Now, were you a show guy prior to this, or no shows for you?
No shows for us. Well, we went to plenty of shows, but we kind of built this to make a splash all at one time. That was kind of our whole. We didn't want to really. It started as a hobby. We matured into, okay, let's do a little business with my daughter because I want her to learn to make money, balance a checkbook, things like that. Things kids aren't going to learn in high school anymore.
Right.
So it went into that, and that's when I said, we had some animals there, and I said, okay, now I want to make this a business. I like this. I love it just as much as my daughter does, because she's the one that kind of led me into all this to start with. So after we decide, okay, we're going as a business, then I reach out to Justin, and it just spirals from there.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Jesus Christ. I mean, you definitely got your work cut out for you with 200 fucking snakes in the house, or on your property at least. Let's talk some sponsors.
I don't sleep much, Chris.
Yeah. No shit, man. Let's talk some sponsors. Do you use Reptile?
Just got a pallet in. We use it, and it's we've tried a few other brands, but nothing beats it. We're absolutely 100% with Reptile from now on.
JT does not give you a fuck you. That's fucking awesome. You're starting off good.
JT.
All right. Do you use Morph Market?
Absolutely.
John Lehman does not give you a fuck you. Man, you're powering through this shit, man. Obviously, you bought over 100 snakes from KINOVA, so Justin definitely does not give you a fuck you. Your logo, did Blake Stewart of Stewart Design do that?
100%.
Did he really?
Yes, absolutely. We
No.
have the video. If you'll look back on some of our Instagram, from our logo morphing to when we become a KINOVA partner, we went with Blake and got that done, and you can see it morph into the new logo.
Blake does not give you a fuck you. That's awesome. Fucking stupid design. Fucking you're one of the few people that he does not give a fuck you to. Do you have any focus cubed habitat cages in your house?
We do not have them, but we absolutely support them. They're amazing, and as soon as we get a few arboreal snakes and more of a pet line, because we're mostly ball pythons, so
Right.
So as soon as we get that, we're absolutely gonna have some. If nothing else, we're gonna display some stuff for people to look at.
That's fucking awesome. Well, Steven and Ashley give you a fuck you, but it's kept in the pocket. Okay, it's kept in the pocket for now until you buy some shit. Have you ever bought a snake from Bow Affliction?
I have not. I have not bought a snake from them.
Yeah, Kenny, definitely. Not one of the nicest guys in the business, but he gives you a big old fuck you. Do you have any sea serpents racks in that house, or an incubator, or anything from Chris?
We have 2 of his big incubators and several. My daughter has a little hognose collection, so we have several sea serpent racks as well.
Nice. Chris Nettles hates giving fuck yous out, so I'm glad that he did not have to
He's
give
a good guy.
He's great, man. Herps, have you ever been to a herp show?
I have not. I haven't even heard of it until they become your sponsor.
Oh my God. Sean Gray is giving you a big fuck you. Never heard of him. Well, I guess they're not really in Georgia or Florida, right? So you would have to travel to get to one. So, but Sean still says fuck you. Now, I know that this is like almost a stupid question, but how could people get in touch with you? Because I know they've been doing it for the last week or two.
Yes, Rice Reptiles on Facebook. Then Instagram is Rice Family Reptiles. We couldn't get just Rice Reptiles, so it's Rice Family Reptiles on Instagram. And my cell phone's on Morph Market. I'm available.
Do you have like a YouTube channel or a TikTok or anything?
We don't have we have a TikTok account that we don't use very much, but we do not have YouTube yet.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that anything that you do as far as social goes is going to blow up like crazy.
We sure hope so.
Yeah, definitely. How many clutches have you produced? Like, how long have you been doing this prior to Justin?
8 years.
Shit. So you're not a newbie at this at all.
Oh, absolutely not. We did it small, hobby level. Like it was just a thing with my daughter. But in the last 3 years, it's been very serious. We just weren't ready. We wanted to make a splash in it, like the first time I reached out to Justin that's what my whole message was to him. I want to get some animals here that'll make a little splash and get us some recognition. And that's where, we went from there.
Well, obviously the last question has to be, how much money have you dumped into it versus how much money have you pulled out of it?
Oh Lord, we're upside down in that area. We've invested a lot.
So would you say $100,000?
Oh, way more than that. We have $100,000 on a project.
Oh, it actually doesn't even matter. Your time is up. You got $100,000 on a project. Fucking, this is the way to do it, people. Fucking, oh my God, dude, this is fucking awesome. Congratulations on this whole kind of upward movement on this thing. I really think it's the smart thing to do. It's basically like KINOVA just opened up an Apple store. And you're running it. So congratulations on doing that, man. And I wish you nothing but the best. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know it's like a family. My podcast is probably not being blasted in every room of your house. Okay. All right. So I get that. So I appreciate you even doing this. So thanks again, and fucking good luck with everything, Billy. I really appreciate everything.
You too, Chris. We follow you, and I'm look forward to coming on anytime you want us.
Hell yes, my friend. Thank you very much. Billy Rice, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, I have a couple of questions for anyone trying to run a business in the reptile industry. Do you ever feel like you're held back by a dated or detailed image? Are you sick of competing on price or convincing people to buy your fucking animals? Are you ready for a change but not sure where to start? Stewart Design guides ambitious companies to discover and share their meaningful difference and empowers them to reach their greatest potential. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably know my man Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If not, I'm certain you've seen the waves they're making within the industry. They've worked with the biggest and baddest players in the game. Stewart Design rebranded ball python extraordinaire Justin Kobylka over at KINOVA. They also created the brands for Amos Reptiles, my boy Zach Nava, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, as well as many, many more. Not to mention the rebranding and all the work that Blake has donated to USARK just because of his love for the industry. Stewart Design helps take that dumpster fire shit of a logo you drew in Microsoft Word to a whole new level. Get your big boy pants on because this isn't a game. There are literally thousands of breeders and more coming out every day. So how the fuck will you stand out at Tinley or on Morph Market or at Daytona? Why should anyone buy anything from you when there are literally thousands of other dickheads out there selling the same stuff? If you want to run a real business and not some part-time fucking hobby, you have to stand out and look the goddamn part. If you give a shit about your business and want other people to give a shit about it, get a hold of Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Stewart Design is a professional branding agency. Just check out their website to see the list of major national and international awards that they've won. And besides creating kick-ass logos, Stewart Design also designs and prints everything you need to crush your next show, so you don't look like another fucking reject. Business cards, stickers, flyers, table covers, banners, you name it, they got it. Visit sdidentity.com or email info@sdidentity.com to learn more. That's info@sdidentity.com to get started. All right, so let's just let the Chris always blows Justin comments fly from all of you fucking no-name full of shit living in your mom's basement fucking with Stranger Things fucking 80s era fucking panel on the walls, non-contributing zeros, fucking sticker breeders, and all the other low-end motherfuckers out there. Come at me, bro. I guarantee this, though. All of you are gonna talk shit, but fucking all of you are gonna listen, so it really doesn't fucking matter. Here's my one-on-one with Justin Kobylka of KINOVA for 2022. Look who I have here. I have the big dog here. What's up, Justin?
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
Good, man. Good. Just plugging away, trying to make shit happen. You know how it is. Listen, I'm not even going to fuck around. What everybody's talking about is the certified partnership that you just announced with Rice Reptiles, with Billy Rice.
Right.
I can't imagine the amount of fucking degenerates that have contacted you since that, that announcement and asked how to become a certified member of KINOVA. So if you could just tell me a little bit about how that happened and what your response is to those people, because I would imagine it wasn't just like 2 or 3, right? It had to be.
No, it was a lot. A lot of people I had never talked to before, and a lot of really good customers as well reached out that, like literally we would be pretty tempted. But I'm sorry, Chris, I did have to turn down your email as well.
Yeah, I tried, I tried.
Yeah, you gotta shoot your shot. I get it.
Yeah. Considering I don't have one ball python here, I was hoping for you to fill me up.
That was the deal breaker for me, was you to bring a thing to the table. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how'd this come about?
Yeah. So it honestly caught me by surprise, and then that was not necessarily looking for this particular arrangement, but Billy I think you can have him on right for me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So Billy, he's an awesome dude. He and his family, he started buying some snakes from me, and he's local. I say local. He's close by in Georgia, um, and he has got an awesome family, awesome person. A lot of business background. He knows what he's doing. Just in general, he's a really smart guy, and very impressed with him. And over the course of about a year and a half, he was buying snakes from me. Come up, he'd just drive up and come and pick up big groups. He's got to know him really, really well. And we started talking about, man, how could we work together a little bit more, or how can I help him succeed in his business? Because he's buying all these animals, and he really wanted to make it work. And he probably already has the business acumen to do it just fine on his own. But I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy to give you whatever I can. And it ended up being a more official arrangement than I ever expected. So basically, I took some equity in his business, and we're just going in it together. He's still his own person. He's running his own reptile room, breeding his own snakes, selling his own snakes, packing his own boxes. But what he has from me is a lot of support. He has me. I can run down and check out his stuff every time, help him with pairings, just give whatever I can to make him successful. And at the same time, one of the awesome agreements we have is that he takes a lot of my ex breeders, so he just kind of gets a nice, awesome collection of refresh constantly going forward, right? Because I can only be so big. I don't plan on outgrowing this building as far as my personal breeding stock. I just can't. It taxes my brain just at this level, even with all the good help I have. So for me, like, I'm constantly making brand new stuff, which means that something else has to get pushed out of the room, no matter how good it is, and it's pretty good. So it's cool to have it somewhere where it can go, where I can continue to kind of monitor it and be able to watch the amazing babies it makes for someone else as well.
Well, Billy also made reference to it'll help have more animals available that people want, because necessarily if you only produce 4 of these animals per year, let's say, like Pompeii or whatever, there's more of a chance of more of them being available.
Right. So for a lot of people think that we try to stifle competition, or, in my mind, if I can enable competition, that actually helps me. Because the reality is that as we get further and further into these more and more difficult mutations, they get harder and harder to get. And that's great for prices, but we really aren't served in the community if people can't buy the ball pythons they want, if they can't get the animals they want for their collections or for their projects. And so I turn down a vast majority of inquiries of people who just message me and say, hey, do you have snake, whatever? And there's the nature of what we do means that if it's on the edge of what's possible, we're just not making that many. We can't. It's not possible. And every year, what people really want keeps getting harder and harder to make, right? And so we may make 2 or 3. And so from my perspective, I love the fact that Billy will have some amazing animals, be making some amazing animals, and servicing all those customers that literally I don't make them. I'm just not going to make enough.
Right.
So that's fantastic, and good for his family. It's good for everybody.
Now, is he going to be flying the KINOVA banner at shows, or is he still Rice Reptiles?
Yeah, we made it completely standalone. I didn't want to, it's something that he's going to grow over hopefully the course of decades and everything. And it's still a standalone business. You might say KINOVA Certified Partner under around his logo, but he's definitely. I hope to have him close to me at shows as he starts doing shows, with his family going forward. I'd love to have him next to me.
Right. Well, one of the things that impressed me about him is he's one of the few people that used Stewart Design for his logo. And right then and there, I was just like, all right, this is a guy that is successful. He has money. He knows what he's doing. And that was like kind of a big thing, because to put that amount of money into your brand shows that there's some kind of belief in your brand. He also brought up a good thing.
Just desire to do things very well, and not half-ass it. Yeah.
Well, he also brought up the point that the intention of his business was to just come out with a bang, and I think he accomplished that really with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you see like this is what everybody wants to know. Are there going to be more certified partners?
Boy, well, I wouldn't have thought there'd be even the one, so I can't say no more. But I think this was a very unique situation, being that because I have a lot of really good customers, but he's a really good customer that I got to spend quite a bit of time with, that I really jived with and felt like it was a kindred spirit as far as the business side of it. Understood, what he was doing, and he happened to be relatively local, which
Right.
to me is like just a big deal. You can, you drive over sometime, check things out, see how it's going, offer some suggestions, and just the ability to do that. So he happened to tick all these boxes that I didn't even have, but could it happen again? Sure, theoretically. We'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see how this one goes, and
What,
over time, maybe we'll do it again.
well, what was the absolute worst phone call that you got where you were just like, who the fuck are you even? But like, I know that had to happen a lot.
Yeah, thankfully they're mostly Instagram messages, and those
Mm.
are easier to handle than a phone call.
Right, right.
But just people I'd never heard of or whatever, and they just want to know how to do it. And again, just like, well, it's just it's not something we're opening up to everybody. But also we heard from some really good customers like, oh man, that'd be really cool to make that work somehow. But this is really a trial thing. We'll see how this one works.
Right, right. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so everybody just stop contacting Justin and asking him to be a certified partner because odds are,
Don't call me, I'll call you. Yeah.
yeah, odds are he's going to say no. Now, um, you said that you didn't want to outgrow the building, but everybody knows that you're building another building on your property.
Right.
What's that for?
So that's a different scenario, although somewhat similar. So that is my good friend up at Mice Direct, which is
Oh
about
yeah,
20
yeah.
minutes north of me. And Heath, the owner there, we've been a really good friend for about 15 years. And we've been working on ball pythons together now for about 6 or 7 years. And it's a similar situation actually to Billy in that as I have outgrown some of my animals, specifically pies, I said, he loves pies. And so early on, I said, well, as I move out some of these breeders, you want me to send them up to you? And so, yeah, we have a building that we built up there. It does have a little snake room for our continued, partnership on that. But I would say 80% of the building is for their new offices for them and for rodent shipping.
Gotcha.
So that's
Okay.
the vast majority of it. So most of that venture is not in snakes specifically.
Right.
But
That Mouse
yeah,
Direct place is
it's
it's
huge. It's
huge.
amazing.
It's
And they're doing
gigantic.
the
Yeah.
cool thing about them is that they're moving a lot into drop shipping for like Amazon, Walmart.com, Chewy, these companies now that are going more direct to the consumer. And so they needed what they needed facilities for actually a literal shipping line, right?
Right.
Print, pack, dry ice, all the whole line. And so like I said, we've worked together for so long. I was like, yeah, let's make this happen. Plus, hey, let's build a cool snake room for you too, to kind of elevate what you do. If you buy a pied from me, there's probably a 50-50 chance that it was made up at his place about 20 minutes away from me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. That place is the current building it looks packed. It doesn't look like they're. I mean, unless they build up, right? They're not going to.
With
they're not
rodents?
going to do anything. Yeah. With rodents, that would be the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got so many rodents. I think plenty. I think what they're really working for now is like that shipping infrastructure, and they're leaning into this kind of new
Right.
drop shipping venture.
Right. Okay. The other rumor on the street is that Justin Kobylka is getting into chondros. Is that
of?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I like to say it's just a hobby, but that's how it starts, right? Any
Right.
of this stuff. That's how ball python started for me or anybody. So I hate to put a cap on it, but for me, I think it will probably just stay a hobby. But man, I'm really enjoying them so far, and we have a whole wall of cages that are on order from Focus Cubed, and we're going to kind of just set it up for the future. And it might take us 5 or more years, who knows, to fill it. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I think they're they're really cool. I just love the display aspect. It really feeds
Right.
something different, and I get it now. Until I started collecting them, it's hard for me to really get why people get crap on ball pythons so much for being in these tubs. You can't even see them. I get it a
Well,
little bit. All right.
the fact that you had Bill Stiegel there and it was advertised like everybody saw he was there kind of just added fuel to that. Justin got to be getting into Bill is
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not getting in a big way, like a big splash or anything. I have 3. I bet by this time next year I'll have 4 or 5, maybe. It's just I'm gonna let it grow and just kind of. Oh, what was I gonna say? It's gonna grow organically, right, and just let it kind of be and enjoy them. And someday we'll make babies, and maybe that'll light a flame when that happens too. So.
Well, there's not going to be 200 KINOVA green trees in 2023.
No,
No,
there won't be
okay.
20. I don't think. I mean, yeah.
Well, and now, like, I remember when everybody thought that the name change was going to be the Kiss of Death, right? But you've obviously grown more from, with the name change. Are you hiring more staff now or more people? Do you need more people to make the operation run?
We've hired 2 new people. So what I've been working on doing is Chase and Summer, like my right and left hand here. They're amazing teammates here, and Summer is working more in the office here with sales, and Patreon and the marketing and everything. And Chase is really becoming my right hand guy in the snake room, like learning the animals and really getting his hands on what we do here in a much bigger way than previously. And by doing that, so to do that, we actually hired a couple people to actually start cleaning cages and stuff,
Right.
which Chase had been helping a lot with in the past. So yeah, we've hired more people. I'm getting a lot more help, and it's been really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, you are you going to continue doing shows? I mean, are shows even necessary for you anymore? Like, can't you just show up and be the cool guy at the show without huffing all your animals, huffing all the equipment over and stuff like that? Like, are you past that point, or are you using the shows for just like a sales tool to be like, hey, this is what we produced, and you could see this in person?
Man, that's hard. That's hard because shows are completely unnecessary. I would say for almost anybody. I mean, I take it back. I would say most people who are just breeders at home and they have good access to Morph Market, I would say shows probably aren't super necessary because you can get in front of such a giant market every day on Morph Market or online. And for years and years, I didn't do any shows at all. It wasn't until I don't even remember what year it was. I don't know, just a few years ago that I started doing Tinley again, and then I started slowly expanding and doing Arlington.
Right.
But it's hard for me. I really don't care to do that many shows with actually as far as bringing the animals and everything. But it's also hard for me to think. I think I owe it to the industry, and maybe you guys, tell me in the comments when this is published if I'm wrong about this. But I feel like I owe it to the industry a little bit to show up with some animals and not ever be so big that I don't know. I want to be able to say, hey, I was here. I was supporting the industry even when I didn't have to. They supported me all these years coming up, and just because I now don't have to do shows doesn't mean that I don't want to be there. Don't want to, be there with my animals, actually press the flesh and talk to people, and
Right.
that, to me that's important. And I think if I stopped that, it would be a loss. It would be a loss for me. I get a lot out of it, out of meeting people and talking to people. So,
Well, like at a show right now, normally, I mean, there's a lot of ball python people at every show, right? Like, do you see people that are a level below you and they're just, that they could possibly, produce things that you can't? Or are you seeing like a decline where people who are selling ball pythons are just like, dude, just give me $500 for it and I'll take the money? Like, is that something that you've run across at a lot of the shows? Because I've run across that at shows.
yeah, I think yes, that's true. I think there's a lot of people who are just, just give me something for it. I don't have to take it home. That kind of
Right.
those
Right.
kind
Right.
of sellers.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's always been the case from the moment I got in. I mean, maybe not really, really early on when they're all so expensive, but for as long as I can remember, that's always been a big divide in the industry between people who just look at it that way. You know,
Mm.
their wife said, "Hey, go to the show and don't bring your snakes back."
Right.
There's plenty of people like that. And then there's plenty of people who take it very seriously and are very professional, and they may or may not have the most cutting edge animals, but they present well and they do well, and they sell really well because of that, right?
Right.
I don't think it's any different than it's ever been in that sense, but I do think a lot more. I think a lot of sellers are saying, "Hey, I don't really need to be here in order to make the same sales." Right.
Right.
In the end, almost all of us, only make however many animals we make. We can't just like call China and be like, "Hey, the sales were good this month. Send me 200 more animals to sell." Right. That's not how it works. We're not selling widgets. We're selling animals we actually made. So the reality is that if you're making 200 animals or 500 animals, as soon as they sell out, you're done for the year, right? Until that season comes around again. And so if a lot of people are saying, well, if I go to the show and I lug my animals out there, I go through some risk in the transportation, some risk for, something going wrong along the process, whatever, a lot of effort, a lot of cost. And I'm just selling the same snakes that I would have sold the same way if I just from home, right?
Right.
And just ship them with less risk and less effort, right?
Right.
There's definitely that's where a lot of people find each other, and a lot of the better breeders, I think, are kind of finding that.
Right.
So.
Now, who would you say are top three where you look at them and they really impress you, where you're like, okay, these guys have a future doing this. Obviously, we're not going to include Billy in that because you already, proved that point.
Yeah.
Well, what I basically want is to see who the up and comers are, like besides Miguel and Ozzy, like not those guys. Those guys are in a class, their own. I'm talking like somebody who you saw recently, and there's potential in these guys.
I would say this seems self-serving, but a lot of my Patreon members, it's hard to say because I don't get to know them as well as they get to know me. Right. But just based on the interactions I have, I find that a lot of them are really smart people, are smart, and I always look for qualities that I had early on, little things or just a hustle and and a love of it. Jordan has made big strides, up in Canada this year. Clearly just the quality of animals he's made is just blowing up. That's been huge. Right. And I just see animals popping up here and there. I'm like, wow, that guy really nailed something. JSA, who's always right next to me at these shows, they produce a crazy animal. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I'm saying I've produced a crazy animal. I think they're going to debut it in Tinley. A crazy animal that really outshines a lot of what I've ever made, and I was just blown away. But it's good what that animal might do, and it's going to really kind of highlight them to a lot of new breeders. But they've been grinding at this for years, with good quality stuff, and all it takes is a couple big hits, and suddenly you're a household name, and you become an establishment, and they'll be like, people will never remember when you weren't at the top.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. Now there's been a rash of like older school breeders coming back into the limelight. Like, Ralph is talking about, coming back into it. There's a couple other guys that are really, that I thought I wasn't going to ever hear from again, So is there any, at your level, nobody's really a threat, right? I mean, that's the kind of reality of it.
Yes and no. Okay, so when you say as a threat, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. At this point, nobody's taking anybody down. We're all sharing in a market that's growing faster than we are.
Right.
That's the situation. And we might shuffle a little bit around as far as who is getting the most attention at any given moment based on some amazing animals they're making. But but again, the market is growing faster than we are. So, if these old school guys or anybody new, whatever comes in, starts really breaking through and just, making awesome stuff, and then that's great. I just don't see how that really is going to make anyone. There's not like you have to replace somebody in order to get to the top in this business. Right. I just don't feel that way. That's why we're partnering with Billy Rice and his family, because if I was concerned about that, I'd be like, push him down, because I don't want the competition. Like, no, we need, the more we have people doing amazing in general, the better. And that's what we try to do on the Patreon. In general, I think that it's kind of like America. The more we have a middle class, the more we have people who are doing well, the better everyone does. As soon as you have a massive disparity where there's guys who are doing really well at the top and then everyone else is doing bad, that's when the whole thing falls apart. And there has to be people who are doing really well all throughout the process. So
well,
no, I'm all about it. Yeah,
you would definitely know more about this than I do, but what I'm seeing the lower end paycheck snakes. Those people are coming home from shows depressed as fuck. And the people that are producing the upper, tier snakes, like the $2,000 to $5,000 snakes, are coming home very happy. Are you seeing that? Like you basically haven't sold a banana in fucking 15 years, right? So, but do you think that the lower end? Do you think that the lower end people are not keeping up? As far as the paycheck snake people.
I mean, you say not keeping up. I just don't think they have a real desire to in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. That's just their world is they have a few pets that make, some babies every year. Just like, you have plenty of people in the dog world who just have a couple pet dogs, and every year they sell the litter and they make a little bit of money. And, it's just a very different, they're not running a business at that point. They may feel like they are. They may feel like they're a snake breeder, but it's not a business. It's a few animals that you sell, and I think that's always going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I don't know. As the business matures, everything kind of matures along with it, and that means that I think for a long time, when it came to reptiles, the pet owners bought their snakes at shows. That was it. And nowadays, I think with the online markets, with morph market going on, everything, I think that buyers' habits are very, very different. And I think a lot of the people who are coming in buying snakes, they get in, they just look around a little bit, and they see all this really cool stuff, and they don't want to start with the cheap snakes like they used to. They're like, I'm just going to jump right up to the $300, $400, $500 ones. And it used to be that as long as you made a few blue-eyed leucistics and a few pieds, you clean up several $1,000s a show or whatever.
Right.
I just don't think that's where it's at now, and you kind of have to move with the market.
Right.
So,
well,
hey, pause for a second. Please, you guys, you're just so distracting me. Go. My kids are in here. Super distracting. What? This is all live, by the way. No, it's not. I'm joking. He's recording this. All right. They just came in here like throwing a baseball, like almost dropping it over. It's like it's like someone takes like a little of glass and keeps throwing it up over a concrete floor. Right. And you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, but your mind's like
right, like looking at it, like that motherfucker's gonna drop it. Yeah. Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes in the Fatman family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every focus cubed habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fatman told you to drop them a line. All right, so you still think the business model is viable if a kid, comes in wanting to put some money into it, like decent amounts of money, and wants to do a ball python business? You still think that that's a viable thing?
I do. I guess I would say with the caveat as, again, this is a very much a maturing business. We're 20 years out from when I got in, right? And I was 5 or 6 years out from when the big guys were getting in, right? And as it matures, as any business matures, you have, players who are, big players in the industry, and they take up market share, right? And so, and also just the cost of competing goes up a lot. So I think the buy-in now is greater than it has been in a long time. Don't want to tell a kid they can't be the next Justin Kobylka. No, I would never do that, because people told me that. People told me, there's no way you're going to make it, Justin. There's no way. And I was just a pimply teenager, right? And people were saying, there's never going to be one of my idols in this business, big time idols in this. There's never going to be another big breeder like, Call and Ralph and all these guys. There's never going to be another one. And as a kid, like, that was very demoralizing. I mean, I chose not to accept that, right? But I would never tell a kid now, say, look, you can't make it. But the reality is that it's a business, and it's a relatively mature business now, in that there's a certain amount of things you have to do. There's a certain amount of facility you have to have in order to compete at the level now that people are competing. And who knows what kind of disruptions will happen, because there's been some big disruptors in the past that allowed new people to shoot up faster or whatever. Be it YouTube, and social media or whatever, right? You can get a big social media following that counts for a lot of financial, investment right there. Who knows what disruptors might show up in the future to allow people to just skyrocket in this business, and that's true for any business. But no, it's definitely not as easy as it used to be, but the rewards are higher than they ever used to be, right? And also the risk is lower than it ever used to be. Reality is that we're 25 plus years into this business, and it's not gone away. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people were like, yeah, spend money if you want. If you want to throw money away, throw in the ball pythons. There's no chance it's going to, no one's going to care about them in 5 years. That's been the mantra since the very beginning, is nobody's going to care about these in 3 or 5 years, or it's all going to be something comes into the next corn snake. It's the next this, it's the next this. There is no the next. It is, ball pythons are their own thing, and they have just managed to fit this niche just perfectly. I'm not saying they'll last forever, but they're not going away anytime soon. And so you can now invest with a lot more confidence, I think, than you could, when I started. So there's pros and cons to joining a business, an industry at this point.
Well, that's what it is now, right? I mean, it's really, it's blown up to be something that's, kind of unstoppable right now. I can't see the ball python market just diving tomorrow, and then it being ruined. I mean, it would have to be like they could catch AIDS and give AIDS to humans, like that's what it would have to be, in order to, to kill it. But Well,
People love what
speaking
they
of,
love, and they love ball pythons. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
they really do.
I say that as a ball python lover. So.
I am not a ball python lover, but also I haven't like I've never seen so many people willing to change their lives to work around a business that are that's basically doing it right now, because that's what's happening is like a lot of people are like, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm just gonna do ball pythons, and if I don't make it, I don't make it, but if I make it, I want to take the gamble. And
Right,
that's happening way more than I thought it would.
right.
So um now, speaking of AIDS,
Great segue. Where you
what's
going with
this?
this?
What's this whole? What's your take on this whole testing thing? And for instance, so like I know you're aware of the things that happen with like Bob Clark and Billy and all that, but like what's going on over at KINOVA to prevent this from becoming a problem? Because you could see what happened with Billy, like some no-name jackoff drugged the guy through the mud for a year and a half with no real proof on anything.
Right.
And like what's the procedures in place that KINOVA's taken to be like, hey, that shit's not going to happen to me, so
Well, it's definitely scary, when you hear what the possibilities of what can happen. So it's certainly on our radar big time. I'm very thankful that we pretty much have a closed collection in the sense that we can make our own mutations, or not to
right,
say we never buy a snake, but we don't buy snakes like we used to buy snakes, and certainly not like when we're building the collection. So very fortunate in that. So what we're actually doing is we're using an entirely separate room for quarantine. We're being more careful in quarantine. We're sending out tests on new animals coming in, but I'm not an expert on NIDO by any means. But everything I learn about it, I find that it's very, very hard to nail down hard facts about it.
yeah,
That's
absolutely,
that
yeah.
and there's been a million videos. I've watched almost all the videos that people have made about them. I've had many hours long conversations with some vets about it, mostly Dr. Stahl, who co-authored the paper on nidovirus. Just trying to so literally, what can I do to make sure I never get this? And they're like, well,
Right,
if you
right,
get a snake and you test it, every month or every 3 months, for 9 months, you should be able to say that it doesn't have NIDO.
yeah,
Like, should.
right,
If
right,
I'm testing
exactly,
it I'm holding quarantine for 9 months, I don't want to should. I want give me some brass tacks here. What do I need to do?
right,
That's what gets me. It's so hard to know those things. And they say, well, if you put it under a certain amount of stress, that's
right,
when it's possible you can test it, and it just wasn't under enough stress to to actually
right, to trigger
shed the
any,
virus, right?
yeah,
Or like all these complications to me makes me think I don't have all the answers. All I can do is really, really watch my animals. We're starting doing random testing. That's what Dr. Stahl recommended. He's like, well, if you wanted to be more certain, you take a random sampling of your breeder males, which are relatively high stressed every year. You take a random sampling of all your girls. If you ever have any animal that has any sort of respiratory, just go ahead and send a test out on it.
right, right,
And so I've been doing that. We had one animal, I think, with respiratory this past year. We sent out a test; it was negative.
right,
And we test now all these animals coming in, but I'm not going to quarantine them for 9 months.
right, right,
To me, it's like they went through some stress with shipping. If I keep them in quarantine for 3 months, test the beginning, test at the end. Is that enough?
right,
That's what's hard for me. It's hard for me to tell my customers, like, this is what you need to do. Like, I mean,
right.
we have the Patreon. Like, I want to give people answers, and we're actually going to have Dr. Stahl out here just to go through it on my video, for YouTube and Patreon. But the answers to me are just not real clear cut.
They're
And
too
the
vague,
other thing
right?
is,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah,
The other thing that's not clear cut to me is there one version of NIDO, or there are other versions of NIDO which are not that bad at all, right?
right,
That they still come out as positive on tests. Are there NIDOs that sweep through your collection? Because I've heard the stories of people who have these NIDOs, like this. Suddenly this animal's sick, and then that animal's sick, and then every animal
right,
I've touched is sick, and then suddenly, like, I've heard those stories. I've never seen it personally.
Right.
But then I hear about the person who, had one NIDO test and, the animal seemed fine. And, they froze it and they never saw it again. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know what the answers are on this
My
stuff,
argument is like, if you could test it before you ship it out and it's negative, but the stress of shipping brings it out and they test it when it gets there and it's positive,
Right.
then potentially every snake could have NIDO, right? Like if everything is special, then nothing is special, right? So it's like, I think that's a bullshit way to, as far as the
Well,
testing goes.
right.
You
Well, my
know,
understanding too is that even if you had a snake that, say, did have NIDO, and then the stress of shipping was enough to make it start shedding it, it might be a couple weeks after it was received that it would begin, actually begin to shed it. So
right,
say the stress of shipping wasn't. So if you took a test, if you got day one, took the test, theoretically, even if that was negative, you took it too early.
right.
And it's the lack of protocols that it makes it hard. And I just want everybody to have the answers. I want everybody to be protected and for us to move on, right? We
Right.
all are
Yep.
interested in not fighting this forever, right? And not having it so that the worst thing that can happen is if people feel like they can't build their collection anymore. They can't continue to enter the industry because they're paralyzed with fear or actual
Right.
NIDO, right? They don't, right? They need to know they can protect themselves. And for that reason, I feel like we need some answers like, how bad is it really? Is it always bad? Is it sometimes bad?
Right.
I think in the end, we're going to have to follow the science, right? We're going to have to do a lot more work on it. I know people are trying on it. It's way above my pay grade.
Right. Yeah.
But,
No, I get it. I mean,
yeah.
I do a dick and fart joke. If it's above your pay grade, it's certainly above my pay grade. Right.
All I do is
Yeah.
listen, right? And I try to do whatever I'm told. But unfortunately, what I'm being told is not, unfortunately, there's still all these loopholes and ways, unfortunately, that you can't really be sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's not grounded in anything right now,
That's
and
grounded in prevention, but not nothing you can take to the bank and know you're good.
right. Yeah, exactly. So where's KINOVA going in 5 years? Like what's going on with that? Are you content with everything the way it is now, or is there a massive empire building scheme that's going to dwarf what you have now and is going to be gigantic? Like you're going to own a race car team, right? Is that like the goal?
Man, I don't think so. I have learned not to shut the door on things, because if I look back 5 years and ever thought that KINOVA or this industry in general would be what it is today, I could never have imagined it. I wouldn't have imagined. I would have thought it would be a pipe dream. So I'm very thankful for that when I look back in the past, and so that makes me not want to say something can't happen in the future.
Right.
I'm not a huge planner in the sense of I think of what do I want to do now, and then I get there. I'm like, okay, what comes next, etc.
Right.
I don't see it being very different than now. I hope that we can continue this amazing journey and it just keeps growing like it is. I hope the market keeps growing, and the big thing we have coming in now is the genetic testing. I think that's going to be a big game changer in the next 3 years. And how that will fall out and what changes that will make, that's something I spent a lot of time thinking about. But in the end, I have no control over it. It is going to be what it is. But I try to predict it a little bit, think of how it might affect us all.
Well, I know that you just did something on your Patreon with RCR, right? About the genetic testing.
Yeah.
It's expensive now, right, to actually get it done, but the price has been going down even in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of expertise, but not too much money, I think, to actually create a test for a new mutation. So say we wanted to figure out how to test for het monsoons or whatever. It takes a lot of know-how, and so I think, again, that's way above my pay grade as well on that. But all I do is I hope people do it, and
Right.
but
Right.
the costs are coming down, the viability of it's coming down, the feasibility, it's just becoming more simple for understanding. Like, hey, it's not that hard. It's just a matter of doing the work. But what it'll do for the industry, like how it'll change like the status quo, like how things are, because we're kind of very used to how things are. Paw sets and the heads. And you don't know this one, you wait to breed it someday, and that whole thing. And my take on it, and this has just been, I've now started testing some animals. Right now we only have tested for pied and het pied and het lab. I've tested probably between 200 and 300 animals now. And I'm starting to see kind of what it does to my collection and how it changes my mentality when it comes to selling and keeping animals and breeding animals.
Right.
Like, and I'm starting to see it's really not that different.
Right.
I mean, it's to me, it's almost all positive. The negative, and this is something that Will brought out in our talk, is just that it does accelerate the speed at which we can make combos, meaning that we don't have to wonder if our male, we're using our star breeder male, is he het or not? We had a year to kind of find out. Just we can actually just kind of move forward with a lot more confidence. That's the negative, I think, is that one of the best things about ball pythons is that they're kind of hard to make.
It's
a
gamble,
as far as
right?
quantity, right? A lot of gambling and with paw sets and everything. That is going to be reduced significantly. I don't think it's going to be reduced to the point where we're not doing this like we are in 5 years. I think it's going to be very similar still.
I think that it's going to lead to a lot of dead fucking ball pythons and fucking, if you find out that your normal is not het monsoon anything, any percentage, you just get rid of this thing. It's not worth me keeping.
But why dead?
Well, I think that a lot more people, I was talking to somebody about this, like you have to realize the amount of baby ball pythons in freezers right now, where when they hatch out, someone's just like, this isn't even worth feeding. I'm freezing it. I'm not getting, it's not worth me getting rid of. I can only imagine the amount of dead baby ball pythons in the country.
I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case.
I don't know,
I think
man.
the pet market's so big out there. I know for every normal or pastel or Mojave or whatever cheap thing I make that I didn't really want to make, like I got people beating down my door for those. I mean, I'll sell them for $30 each or whatever.
Right?
Very expensive, but pet owners really want those. I can't imagine freezing them.
I don't know, man. I could see Billy Jack in fucking Arkansas. Fucking being like, it'll cost me $300 this year to feed this animal that I can't get $30 for now, and it's just it's getting wasted.
Man, right? I hope that's not the case. That's not right. Yeah, not right.
See, this is where your positivity shows and my negativity fucking shines. So I definitely think that it is an issue. Because it's like, if I find out my normal, what I was hoping for, het monsoon or het puzzle is now, worth $30 instead of $1,000, that's gonna take a hit on the morale of wanting to start a business like this,
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I mean, there's different scenarios. One is you bought that snake for $500, right?
Right.
And you're hoping it's worth $1,000 because you hope it's het, and you find out that it's normal, right?
Yeah.
That's that scenario where you've already grown it up a while. You do the test, you find out it's worth very little. I mean, to me, it's inconceivable for me to freeze that because I just have so many people who want that animal, no matter what it's worth from me. But to me, it's nice to know. And as testing becomes available early on, more readily going forward, I'd like to think that most sellers would say, like from my perspective, if I hatched a whole clutch of het monsoons or paw set monsoons, say 50% paw set monsoons, they're either normal or they're het monsoons, a big value difference, right? If I was to hatch those, I would send out tests on all of them right away. Right, you'd instantly know, like, hey, these 4 of the 8 eggs, these 4 were worth $1,000, and these 4 were worth $30 each. Right. You'd know that. So the difference to me is, before that, we'd sell all 8 for $500 each. Right. And it'd make $4,000, right?
Right.
Now we're going to sell 4 of them for $1,000, right? Make our 4,000. The
Right.
same thing, right?
Right.
But we have 4 normals now, which the pet store is like, please, Justin, please give me some more normals, right? So to me, as a seller, I'm like, hey, this is great, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
now I don't have to sell 8 snakes more hard. I have to sell 4 snakes, and 4 of them are going to pet owners, and they love them. It's great. They never expected more from it. So ideally, the sellers are the ones doing that. It's also
Right.
kind of nice from the buyer's perspective. You buy a snake. I mean, theoretically, I don't think we should be a lot of people selling pos heads after a while, right? Or people just don't want, like, I don't want to do the test. I don't care.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
It'd be awful nice to be able to buy a snake and say, or you buy a snake as 100% head. You go ahead and send a test out on it. Hey, it's not a head. You're ripping
Right.
me off. Versus 3 years from now, I'm going to breed it. I'm not going to hatch what I wanted. The breeder's going to be like, oh, you missed the odds. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Then you wait another year, you breed it again. Oh, sorry, you missed the odds again. Sorry about that. And by that time, it's not even worth anything, right? You're over it. You passed it, whatever. And so right now, bad actors in this business, buyers have almost no recourse, nothing they can do to actually prove they were sold a non-het.
Right. Right.
You can't prove a negative. Very hard to prove a negative. We're coming to a place where we can actually prove a negative for the first time.
Right.
And I think that's a big positive. So.
Right. I get that. And I wasn't implying that you or your customers are freezing baby ball pythons.
I know.
I am absolutely implying that fucking Billy Bob from Arkansas is freezing, baby ball pythons. Also, a lot of the fun is the gamble, right? It's like, you know, when I was with Eyeballs, like we excelled at, if the clutch could be worth 8,000 or it could be worth 200. Every time it was worth 200. Like we did great at $200.
Because you're not an optimist. Optimism, it transfers into the eggs. I'm telling you.
I don't think it does. All right, I don't think it does.
Hey, I'm living proof that it does. Okay.
It was well, it did not work for us. We got to take a class or something. And so I mean, there were times where I was like $200, like fucking right to the pet store, right to the wholesaler, or whatever.
Sure.
But it would have been nice to, raise up possible hets and see if anything happened, because then, you're like, oh, I waited 3 years and I got this puzzle, or I waited 3 years and I got this clown, but like, that's part of the fun part of it for me. So
yeah, to me, that's a negative. That's a negative that you take away some of that mystery. You still have the mystery of, am I going to hit the odds? Which, the way we're going with these multi-recessives, that's a big mystery. You're running 1 in 256 odds or whatever. So there's still that, I can't believe I hit this snake. But it will take a lot of the mystery out of it if there's no pos heads involved, right? You always know if you have a head or not. Right.
And then your $30 normal is always worth $30, and it doesn't even have the possibility of you giving you getting $1,000 snake in the future.
Right.
So, all right. Well, kind of, we took up enough of your time, right? Like, what else are we going to talk about? Is there anything you want to talk about? Do you got any deals or any specials coming up? Like the Justin Kobylka KINOVA special, buy 3, get 5.
No, just the same everyday good customer service you come to expect.
You're not going to do a Memorial Day or Halloween sale, or
No, to me it's so funny. Like whenever you do if anybody ever does like a short-term sale, like it's not like you're going to call them the day after the sale ends and they're not going to give you the deal. They will always willing to take that much money for the snake.
Right. All it does is prove that your snake is worth $250 less than you're advertising it for.
Right.
Right. So that's all it does.
That's so funny.
But what's your next show? Are you going to Daytona?
So no, well, I might go to Daytona just to say hey, but we'll be in Arlington as far as the setup.
Oh, good. Goes. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm going to be in Arlington too. So,
I look forward to it.
So that's you don't do any of the California shows, right?
No, I haven't in a long time. I do want to start attending them a little bit more because I love California. It's fun to go out there, but yeah, dragging the snakes there is a bit much for me.
Yeah, no way. Well, now you have Billy to drag the snakes everywhere and just be like, hey, do this,
He's got the energy now. I mean, I've been doing it too long, and he's fresh, so we'll give him my spot for a while, maybe.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. All All right, brother. Well, tell people how they could get in touch with you. Not that they
Yeah.
are like, I wonder how I could get in touch with Justin.
Yeah. Look up KINOVA. I don't have to spell it
Get in
now.
touch
It's
with you.
wonderful. Look up KINOVA and yeah. And look forward to connecting with you guys online. Thanks, Chris, for the chance to chat with you for a while. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. I already told this to everybody. I'm gonna go out to KINOVA in October, and we're gonna have a little fun. And yeah, we'll see each other at Arlington. Maybe we'll do dinner, and we'll just go from there. Texas is my favorite place, So, but
awesome.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the Georgia trip, as well. I got to be like all the other kids and have the facility tour and the fucking the what do you got new here and the incubator tour and yeah, I got to be like the other fucking 50.
I know it feels like you're gonna be playing second fiddle now because everybody else have been here. You're like the last one.
Yeah, because I don't care, right? Like it's like like
that's your superpower, man.
Yeah, you said something to me one time. Like you said 6 months. Like there is nothing more frustrating than showing a ball python to someone who's not impressed by ball pythons, and that's you, Chris.
Oh,
so
dude, we get that all the time. Someone will come over and man, they literally, anybody comes and works at my house, does some project or something. Like they always want to see the snakes,
right?
But you show them a snake, and they're like, "Oh, okay, is that poisonous?" Like, okay, just go. Like, we can't. This is.
Get out.
I can show you all the snake, but this is no fun for me anymore. We're gonna have the most basic conversation, but that's okay.
all. At this point, too, you got to be tired of fucking visitors, right?
Well, that's why we have Summer and Chase. They give a much better tour than I give. I can come in and like say a few things and walk out with a laugh, and
right.
and people leave much happier getting a tour from Summer or Chase.
Oh, Jesus. All right, brother. Well, fucking go spend time with your family. Thank you so much for taking
Thanks, Chris. Have a great night.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later. Here at Snakes and a Fat Man, we're huge supporters of diversity. We're proving that point here by having our first ever boa breeder as a sponsor on the show. Boa Affliction has been around since 2010, and when they saw the VPI T-positive gene, they immediately shifted their focus and decided to make not just visually stunning albino boas, but they quickly realized that the T-positive snows and sunglows really stood apart from the T-negative albinos that were available at the time. This original VPI gene has maintained its place in the market for the last 10 years and shows no sign of slowing down. Here's the thing. When you invest into your 401k, a 401k for all you ball python people is a fund that you invest in for your retirement. But when you invest in a 401k, you just don't invest in Walmart. You invest in Amazon, Verizon, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're trying to say here. 100% of your collection doesn't have to be ball pythons. Throw a few boas in there and be part of a different type of cool crowd. And when you do that, invest with Kenny over at Boa Affliction. Great, no bullshit guy with an awesome website. And how in the fuck am I gonna say no to a guy who uses this chick in his promo picture? Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried everything. Go check out Kenny today at boaffliction.com. Sticking with my supporting of diversity, I actually hired a millennial to handle all of my social media, but I had to fire him because he didn't show up for work. So I'm just going to leave this picture up here for a little while longer. Just want to thank Justin for all his time. Buy a fucking snake from the Apple of ball python breeders. Hey, another thing, and I know I mentioned it before, but you should become a part of the Snakes and the Fat Man Patreon family. Right at patreon.com/Snakes and the Fat Man. They don't make it searchable because I made the dumb mistake of making it an R-rated show when I signed up for Patreon. And for some reason, they don't let you search it out. So you have to go direct to patreon.com/Snakes and the Fat Man like all these other people right over here did. Make it happen and help the show out. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to exclusive videos like shitting on. It doesn't matter. Behind the scenes stuff. You also get discounts on any guests that I have if they have companies that you would actually want to buy from. There's a lot of shit going on, and it's definitely worth the money. I mean, $5 a month, $10 a month, $20. Listen, it's not a lot, and it's worth the money. I think it'll make you laugh. Oh, Jesus Christ! I hope I didn't sound like I was fucking begging for Patreon people there. Jesus Christ, I suck. But I mean, you could join people like fucking Shamir Bernard from Royal Black Balls, Eileen Jarp from Bravo Zulu Ball Pythons, and Bree Barnum from Smoky Mountain Balls. I'll tell you, this weekend, the balls were fucking smoking. All right, anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. All of these people are part of the Fat Man machine. Be like them. Again, that's patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. All right, so you know the rest of the deal here. We drop podcasts on the 1st and the 15th of every month. We do the open Zoom call every 2 weeks. I think the next one is on, let me see here. I don't even know. Oh, no, it's August 14th. Okay. On August 14th is going to be the next open Zoom call. You guys should hop on. I guarantee that you'll have a good time. It's always free. It's never recorded. It's always funny. And you have to show up, because if you miss it, you're never going to get a chance to be part of that particular conversation again. So I kind of like the fact that we don't record it, because this way people are more free to just talk about their own opinions and everything. They don't have to worry of being on YouTube forever. Listen, thank you. Thank you guys for sticking around. I fucking love you guys to death. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks, and we'll just take it from there. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you can be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators, and again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to SeaSerpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fat Man sent you.